Hi, this is Dan Nelson, and I want to teach you how to draw the human figure, not by drawing something, but in fact by creating a three-dimensional model. The overriding principle is start simple. I've divided the human figure into three essential blocks: a head, a 2:3 ratio, the chest, 2:2 square, the hips, 1:2 rectangle viewed from the front. Now, if we take each of these cubes and view them from the side view. Now the head is still, surprisingly, roughly a 2:3 rectangle, but the torso is a 1:2 rectangle and the hips are now square. Now let me draw that in a three-dimensional view. The head, 2:3 rectangle from both sides. The chest box is a square from the front, but a rectangle from the side, and the hips are rectangle from the front, square from the side. Now let's start refining the chest box. First we turn it into a trapezoid, and we're going to put a triangle on top of it. There's the abdominal arch and the breast, and this viewed from the side. Notice that at the top of this rectangle we place a right triangle that represents the position of the shoulder structure. Round it off at the bottom. Now I'm going to make it out of styrofoam. This is a simple hot wire cutter. You can get it at any craft store with a couple of batteries in it. Now notice right here I'm holding the pen to indicate that the chest box is still a square, but the width of the pen represents the triangle that I've put on top of it. Does that make sense? I'm making that right triangle now, and it's important that it's a right triangle. Now I'm tapering off the sides, as you saw that I did in my drawing, and then a little bit off the back, and a little bit off the front, and a little bit more off front. And oh, this is a notch that I'm cutting out for the neck. Now the cool thing about styrofoam is that you can just use your fingers and squeeze it and round it all off. There with my thumb I've made the abdominal arch, the abdomen, and for a simple trick, that's not a bad fake abdomen. Now I'm not going to do great detail on the head because I'm going to save that for a future video where I'll work in a larger format. Notice that from the side a head is a circle with a square cut out and elongated in the front. Okay, front view of a head. If we put that square, it'd be way too wide, so we flatten the sides to make the temple and then taper it down to the chin, and it's not a bad representation of a head. Now let's start putting this all together. How tall is a human being? And I was walking through an art store a couple years ago with this list of things under my arm, and the manager pointed and laughed and said, "Look, Dan's naughty ends." If you divide the human figure into 8 heads, those heads fall at neck, nipples, navel, nads, knees, and nothing. And I didn't have anything for the middle of the thigh for a long time, and then suddenly I discovered if you put arms on the side and the arms hang down, then the finger nails fall right at about midpoint of the thigh. And then finally the last end, if you turn the calf sideways, you'll notice there's a notch right halfway in the middle of the calf. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ends, Dan's naughty ends. That helps you remember how tall the human figure is, helps you get these things in the right position. Here's my head that I made off camera. It's a pipe cleaner for the ears, pipe cleaner for the nose, and I'm measuring here to see if that's the right height. It is. Now let's go back and look at the hips. Started with a rectangle and a square. Now we're going to refine that a little bit. The biggest important refinement is that the hip rectangle tilts forward, more on women than on men, but on both it tilts forward. Now I'm going to make that out of styrofoam, turn it into there it's too wide, there we go. I'm going to turn it into a trapezoid. Here's a quick sidebar on male versus female. Males are wider at the shoulder, narrow at the hips. Females are wider at the hips, narrow at the shoulders. And we say vive la différence. Back to the hips, changing it now from a rectangle to a trapezoid. Then a little bit off the back, and a little bit off the front, a little bit off the back. That looks about right. Round it off with my fingers. Notch there for the pubic bone. Pipe cleaner to hold it together. If you really want to get good at drawing a human figure, build this yourself. Watch it in slow motion. See the curvature of the spine? Not too bad for a quick model. Now, what is missing from this mannequin are the bulbous formations at each joint. Let me talk about those briefly. At the shoulders and hips, the bulbous formations are formed by muscle mass. At the wrists, elbows, knees, and ankles, the bulbous formations are created by bony masses. Got that? There it is. So that is not included in this mannequin, so you have to know that and add it yourself. Each segment of the arm is about 1.5 heads long. So there's a head, that means the arm is 1.5 heads long. And each segment of the leg is about 2 heads long. So there's a head, 2 of those is the thigh, 2 of them is the calf. But for this mannequin, the pipe cleaner joints make up part of the limb length. So we're going to have to make our calves and thighs and so forth shorter because some of the length is going to be made up by the pipe cleaner. So this is a thigh that I'm working on, about that long. Pipe cleaner, other thigh, pipe cleaner, woohoo! Now the arm. Here's a principle to keep in mind. The muscle masses on our limbs, inside the joints, the muscle masses are curved and short. Outside, they're long and obtuse. That is, they're not acute angles. They're long curves. Something to keep in mind. And again, please understand that this is just beginning figure drawing. We could get into much more detail about the shapes of every one of these muscles and bones, and I recommend that you do that. Here's an important note. None of our limb segments are cylindrical. Our bicep tricep is an oval. Our lower arm has 2 bones in it, of course, a radius and the ulna, and then a muscle inside, which actually makes our lower arm a triangle till it tapers down to the wrist where it becomes an oval. Let's do feet. Triangle from the front, triangle with a diamond on top, side view, triangle, add an arch. I'm laughing there saying that's not really a very good drawing, so I decided to try to do it again better. Now we're going to go ahead and try to make some feet. Little wedges, little triangles, cut out an arch, squeeze them together, and that'll have to do for these feet. Good enough. Now, the hand is as tall as the face, that is from the chin to the crown of the forehead. And if you turn the hand into a diamond shape, as I just did there, and cut off the excess, you'll have something that's very close to a hand. That's one good trick to learn how to draw a hand, a diamond, and then cut off the sides. You can go back and look at that in slow motion if you want to see it again. And there we are, it's all done. These 2 figures I did for a cake topper for my nephew's wedding, male and female. I hope that helps you in learning how to draw the human figure. Thanks for watching.